Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Melissa. Trying to figure out my lighting in this spot. I'm using a different corner of my camper. Okay, so today's video is about what do you do with other people's opinions? How do you listen to them? Do you take their thoughts into consideration when you make choices? How do you deal with the outside world and their thoughts and what you should do? Do you let it affect you? Do you let them change your mind? I have a lot of thoughts on this, and it so depends on the situation, right? Hey ladies, thanks for tuning in. You know, Ryan and I have done a lot of crazy things that a lot of people didn't agree with. Like, even when Ryan and I got married, there was this guy that we worked with that he came up to me and was like, Melissa, I don't think you should marry him. But you know what? He didn't know Ryan like I knew Ryan. And so I saw where he was coming from, but I didn't listen to him, you know, I didn't. And I think some other people were kind of surprised when we got married. He wasn't my normal type, but his heart and the things that were important to him, and that was the same as me. We really had a lot in common. People that just didn't know us really well didn't know that. So, you know, but it's funny, after Ryan and I got married, and after we'd been married like a year or two, that same man came up to me and said, you know, I'm sorry, you know, you were right, and I'm really glad you guys got married. I was wrong in that situation. So that was interesting to me, you know, that he did come back and say that later. Like, that, I really admired him for that. But we've had other situations where we moved from a town. We were living in a town, and we were told repeatedly to never leave. That if you left, everything would just go bad with you, and blah, blah, blah. And there was a lot of control, really, you know, and I don't know what at the base of that control was, if that's just fear or what it was for those people. But we chose to leave. We chose for my husband to go to college, and so we needed to go to a different town. And I'm really thankful. You know, I'm really glad. Like, we haven't lost our salvation, and that was a big thing that people kept saying. Like, I don't know. It's a long story. But I heard this quote once, and I'm gonna botch it, but it was basically like, don't worry if people don't understand your vision, because God gave you that vision, not them. And that really is important to me, that thought, because all of us are called to different things, right? And the thing is, a lot of times when we're called so strongly to something, we think everyone is, or we don't really understand. My husband, okay, right now we're in the Walmart parking lot, and my husband is driving with me in the camper doing my video. I don't know what he is thinking. That husband. So anyhow, you know, we've taken some risks that other people just thought weren't wise, and it wasn't wise for them. And there's one thing, I mean, we have to balance that with godly counsel, right? Like, we want to put ourselves under authority, and we want to be able to humble ourselves, and like, if we're being really stupid, to be able to listen to other people's input, right? Like, there's that balance. But sometimes God calls us to do stupid and crazy things, and we can't not do them because a person doesn't understand what God's telling you, you know? And so that's a big thing. That's where you have to be confident that that is a word from the Lord. And I love being married in that situation, because when we have confirmation and we both feel the same, and, you know, we're praying about it and we feel totally in unison on that decision, there's peace. You know, there's peace. And I know God calls people to do crazy things. Like, you know, be missionaries, travel the world, sell everything they own, give it to the poor. I mean, God calls us to do crazy things, and it doesn't make sense to other people, but we can't let that stop us. You know, at the same time, like, we need to be open to wisdom, you know, so there's a balance. And I think it's really case by case. I'm trying to think, you know, we've had a lot of naysayers, I know, in our life. And maybe those naysayers just stand out to me. Sadly, the negative stands out more than the positive. But we do have cheerleaders, and that's really fun. That's really encouraging. Hey, Nettie, I'm glad you got to see me live. I just watched your video, and I was like, I need to do this. So, yeah, it's a hard question. I think a lot of these questions are hard. They're so case by case, you know, but when it comes to big things and what God's putting on your heart, I mean, double check that. Check with people, you know, but if it's something, I don't know, if it's not anti-biblical and you're feeling called to do it, take a risk. I don't know. I really feel like that we need to jump. You know, there's so many amazing opportunities out there, and we're letting fear and this American way of living that we're supposed to do. I don't know who decided we're supposed to do it, but we all are doing it. We're holding ourselves back, and I don't want that for you. So, okay, I think it's time to go now. They stopped the van, so that's good. They didn't drive down the road with me back here.
Hello.
So, yeah, I hope that was clear. I don't know. If you're getting counsel over and over not to do something, I mean, check the word, be in prayer about it. But if you feel called really strongly to do something, as long as it lines up with the word, I say jump.